Hey folks, welcome to Kayak DIY. Here, myself and my father head off to ICAST, where we're going to be filming the latest products in paddle sports and fishing. Check it out. Hey folks, Kayak DIY here, and right now I'm standing in front of the Sundolphin booth. The Sundolphin booth, it's actually a whole bunch of different brands that they have here available that are all sister companies. But the first kayak we're going to be going over is their Sequoia 120. So this here is an angler kayak. It's meant to come in at a lower price point, be a nice option for those that are beginners to pros. And we'll get started with this kayak. We're going to go actually bow to stern, and that's the way I like to do it. It gets you more comprehensive look at the kayak. So up here in the bow, we have a generous grab handle, and that's something that's really important. When you have some of these larger kayaks, you want to have a nice grab handle to be able to grab onto. You have rod tip protectors here. So these rod tip protectors also have these grooves here where you can put your rods into. You also have a lot of flat deck space, and that adds a lot of versatility in how you use this craft. So for camping, kayak camping, long trips, you're going to be able to put dry bags under here, all that stuff. You got drain holes to be able to let water run off into. So if water comes over the edge, you're good. You have right here locking hatches, and it even has a little bag tray in there. You can pop that tray out if you want in order to store more stuff inside the hull. You got tape measure on your stand-up assist handle. You got adjustable foot pegs here. You have tracks that are inlaid, so everything's nice and flush. You don't have a lot of snag points. That's very important as well. Right here we have a rod holder. Over here we have a type of like cleat setup to where you can put line on. Here you got a paddle holder on the side that's positioned really well, easy reach. You got also a bungee holder here. On the side here you got a cup holder recessed area. You got more handles. Your seat, as you would expect, has a high and low seating position. So you can actually pop the seat out, drop it down, and now you're in a low seated position for a low center of gravity if you were in some really choppy waters, or just a matter of personal preference really. But when you want to go into a more elevated position, you can actually pop up the seat. That goes like there. So it just locks right into these little grooves here. And that's a pretty common style setup that we expect when we see a fishing kayak, is to have that high and low seated position. The seat seems to be very good quality. Seems to be a seat that you would likely find all day comfort in. Very typical, what you would expect. Going on to the back, you have another hatch here. In the hatch you have also one of these little bags here to keep gear from sliding around. And there is a seal on that. There is some hollow space underneath the seat when you're in that high position. So you have some storage options there. Another paddle keeper on the side there. You got track mounts here. You have track mounts on the other side. Those are also recessed. They made sure to recess everything so that you have low snag points. Here we have some netting. You got a little zipper liner there. You also have another handle on the back, and you have a drain. If you're really paddling hard, it doesn't matter if you have a $100 kayak or if you have a several $1,000 kayak. At some points, you do probably get a little bit of water. Not much, maybe just a few ounces, or sometimes it can be up to a cup if you're going offshore. Having a drain that is in a good position is, something that's important to me. That amount of water is not going to affect the performance of the craft. These have a lot of weight capacity, which that brings me into talking about the specs here. So I have the specs here, and what we're looking at is we're going to have a length of 12.5 feet or 384 centimeters, 35.6 inches width. We're going to have otherwise 90 centimeters of width. The height of the gunnels, that's going to be 14 inches, 36 centimeters. The weight of the actual craft is 94 pounds, and that would translate into 43 kilograms. Capacity is 500 pounds, which translates into 227 kilograms. And the kayak comes with a limited lifetime warranty. So let's take a look also some of the other kayaks that they have around here around the booth. Some of these might look familiar from previous iCasts when I filmed them. So if we go over here, we have the Boss 12 SS. This is a very popular kayak right now. Gets people in at a low entry point for a price point. Very competitive in the pricing. It comes in below many other competitors. But what you have here is you have drain plug, handle, you got some deck bungees so that you can strap down gear like dry bags. You got hatches, you got rod holders in the front, which are really nice to have, and they're angled out here. You have rod holder here. You have adjustable foot pegs. You have track mounts. You have handle here and here. You got nice deck padding. You got your scupper drains here. You have a nice seat, very nice seat. So very comfortable. It's actually appears to be almost identical to the one over there, I think. And this seat also, you should be able to just drop down into the low seated position with minimal effort and pop it back up into the high seated position if you want to be able to do a little bit more sight fishing, or if you just want to have a little bit higher angle paddling. And it's just, a lot of times I like to be in a little bit higher seated position because I like to transition from sitting to standing, which is what you can use this strap for. And this strap, they have this nice little ruler on here. So that's a nice little thought there. Got another hatch in the back, same style hatches. You got rod holders here and here. Here they put a crate setup, so showing how it can be used. You got the paddle keeper here, and then you got your nice big handle in the back, and you got another drain. There's a lot of space back here for storage, and to me this is really set up well. A big thing that we're seeing in a lot of our Facebook groups, and what I'm getting told by other members and people that follow us is they're wanting to go camping and do like day trips with their kayak. I think this thing's set up pretty well to be an affordable option for people to be able to do that. You don't have to spend a lot, and you're getting a lot of craft for the money. We could also go and take a look at some of these kayaks here in the inside of the booth. So here's just a look at their other lineups. So we got the Evoke. That model there of the Sequoia was the Evoke product as well. You have another Evoke product. So this is the View. This one here is the Novato. So you got a sit-in. This has probably a hull design, which I would say would cater well for people trying to, go a decent distance. The sit-in sides are more popular in people that have some of the colder water environments. A little bit drier rides sometimes. Sometimes you can even get skirt options and sometimes be able to have even a drier ride yet. On these, sit on top here. So sit on tops are popular in a lot of the warmer climates, or possibly if you're going to be taking it out on a river where you could have, I wouldn't say high class rapids, but just where you could have a lot of water coming up over the bow. Then you have the drains here. So very, very popular kayak design. And so they have really a kayak for just about anyone, and whatever you have for a budget, typically these kayaks are going to be able to fit in that budget because they have a lot of bang for the buck, is what I like to say. So here's a look at the Navigator. Sit on top. It has a lower profile seating, low center of gravity. It's going to be one that you could probably get some pretty decent speed with, just judging by the hull design. Going to track probably pretty well. It's a 12-foot craft. I'd say anything 12 foot and above typically is good for going straight and going a longer distance. Once you get into the 10-foot kayaks of most brands, you're gonna be able to turn and wander a little bit more. But those are sometimes better kayaks for smaller bodies of water, rivers, streams, things like that. So that's kind of a look at the Sundolphin booth.